A soft awakening. Listen to what the world needs. You know that moment when you're driving down a quiet road, maybe somewhere outside Nashville, the trees glowing gold in the fall, and you realize you've been following the same route your whole life? Work hard, save up, play it safe. That's what we were taught, wasn't it? Growing up in the 80s or 90s, maybe you heard it at the dinner table. Get a good job, keep your head down, and everything will work out. But here we are, 40, 50, maybe 60, and you're wondering, why doesn't it feel like enough? Why does the bank account still feel tight, even after all those years of grinding? I've been there. I spent my 30s climbing the corporate ladder in a Chicago office, thinking if I just worked harder, I'd get to that place of enough. But one evening, sitting in my car after a 12-hour day, I realized I wasn't moving forward. I was just moving. Like a bird in a cage with the door wide open, too scared or too comfortable to fly. That's when I knew. Wealth isn't about working harder. It's about thinking differently. Let me share a story. My friend Linda, a school teacher from Atlanta, loved her job. She poured her heart into lesson plans, stayed late grading papers, and even bought classroom supplies with her own money. But by 45, she was burned out, her savings barely growing. One Thanksgiving, while chatting with parents at a school potluck, she noticed how many complained about finding healthy, quick snacks for their kids. Linda loved baking. Nothing fancy, just hearty muffins her own kids devoured. She started small, bringing samples to the school's fall festival. Parents loved them. By the next year, she was selling Linda's lunchbox muffins at local farmers markets, tailored to busy families who wanted nutritious, grab-and-go snacks. She didn't quit teaching right away, but within 2 years, her side hustle was outpacing her salary. Now, at 52, she runs a small online bakery with nationwide shipping. What changed for Linda? She stopped asking, "What am I good at?" and started asking, "What does the world need?" That's the first mindset shift. Wealth comes from solving real problems, not just chasing what you love. Passion is beautiful, but it's like a spark. It needs kindling to burn. The kindling is the market's hunger. Think about it. You might love painting, but if your town's craving affordable home repairs, your art won't pay the bills. The question isn't, what's my passion? It's, what's the gap I can fill better than anyone else? Take a moment this week. Grab a notebook and jot down 3 things: skills you're decent at, things people ask you for help with, and needs you see around you. Maybe you're good at organizing. Your friends always ask you to plan their trips. Maybe your neighborhood needs reliable dog walkers for busy professionals. Find the overlap. That's your starting point. It doesn't have to be big. Linda started with muffins at a festival. You might start with a small service at the local 4th of July fair. The point is to listen to the world's needs and meet them where they are. That's the soft awakening that opens the door to wealth. Let's talk about how this feels in real life. Imagine you're at a summer barbecue in your backyard, the kind where neighbors bring potato salad and the kids are chasing fireflies. You're chatting with someone who runs a small landscaping business, and they mention they're swamped with requests for eco-friendly garden designs. You've always loved gardening, but you never thought it could be a business. Instead of brushing it off, you ask, "What do people want most?" They tell you, "Low maintenance, water-saving plants for busy families." You go home, research native plants, and offer a small consultation package at the next community event. A few clients sign up. That's it. That's the spark meeting the kindling. This isn't about forcing yourself into something you hate. It's about finding where your skills meet a real need. Maybe you're a whiz at spreadsheets, and notice local small businesses struggle with bookkeeping. Or you're great at storytelling and could help real estate agents craft compelling property listings. Start small, test it out, and let the market guide you. Wealth begins when you stop spinning in your own head and start solving someone else's problem. The power of together. You don't have to go it alone. There's this myth we grew up with, especially in America, where we're told to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, be the lone cowboy, the self-made hero. I bought into that for years. In my 40s, I was running a small catering business in Denver, doing everything myself: cooking, delivering, answering emails, even scrubbing the kitchen floor at 2 a.m. I thought, if I want it done right, I've got to do it myself. But by 47, I was exhausted, and my business was stuck. I was surviving, not thriving. Then I met Sarah, a graphic designer at a local food festival. She offered to create a logo for my catering business in exchange for catering her daughter's graduation party. That logo made my flyers pop, and soon I was getting calls from bigger clients, corporate events, not just backyard birthdays. That's when it hit me. I didn't have to do it all. The real wealth builders don't go it alone. They build alliances. Think about the 4th of July block party in your neighborhood. You're grilling burgers. Someone else brings the coleslaw. Another person sets up the playlist. Together, it's a celebration. Alone, it's just a meal. Wealth works the same way. You don't need to be the best at everything. You just need the right people to complement what you do. Maybe you're a retired nurse who loves helping people stay healthy. Partner with a local gym to offer wellness workshops. Or you're a handyman. Team up with a realtor to offer quick home fixes for sellers. You don't need an office or a big budget. Just a handshake and a shared goal. Let me tell you about Mike, a 55-year-old mechanic from Ohio. He'd spent decades fixing cars in his small garage, barely making ends meet. One day, at a county fair, he met a woman who sold vintage car parts online. They got to talking, and Mike realized he could restore old cars using her parts, splitting the profits. He didn't need to learn e-commerce. She handled that. Within a year, they were selling restored Mustangs to collectors across the Midwest, and Mike's income doubled without him working longer hours. He wasn't alone anymore. He had a team, even if it was just 2 people. Here's how you start. Look around your community. Maybe at the next Labor Day picnic or church fundraiser. Who's doing something that complements what you do? If you're great at writing, find a small business owner who needs better social media posts. If you love baking, connect with a coffee shop that needs desserts. Offer to collaborate on a small project, maybe a pop-up event at a local market. Share the work. Share the reward. It's not about hiring employees. It's about finding partners who make your strengths shine. This mindset shift saved me. I started outsourcing my catering deliveries to a local driver, freeing me up to focus on cooking and marketing. I partnered with a wedding planner who recommended my services, and I returned the favor. My business grew, but more importantly, I had time to breathe again. Wealth isn't just money. It's the freedom to live without carrying the world on your shoulders. So, next time you're at a community event, strike up a conversation. You never know who might be the key to unlocking your next step. Less is more. Work smart, not hard. There's a moment I'll never forget. It was a crisp autumn evening in Seattle, and I was sitting at my kitchen table, surrounded by invoices, my laptop buzzing with unread emails. I was running my catering business, volunteering at the community center, and helping my kids with homework. My calendar looked like a Tetris game, every hour accounted for. But when I checked my bank account, it didn't reflect all that hustle. I was busy, but I wasn't winning. That's when I learned the third mindset: doing less, but doing it right. We're taught that busyness equals success. Growing up, maybe you saw your parents working overtime, praised for their work ethic. But here's the truth: the wealthiest people I know don't work harder. They work smarter. They focus on what moves the needle and let go of the rest. Take my friend Carol, a 48-year-old realtor from Texas. She used to spend hours every day posting on every social media platform, answering every email, and driving to every open house. She was exhausted, and her commissions weren't growing. Then, at a local business workshop during Small Business Saturday, she learned about the 80-20 rule. 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. Carol analyzed her sales and realized that most of her clients came from Instagram posts showcasing neighborhood tours. She cut back on other platforms, focused on creating weekly video tours, and used a scheduling tool to automate her posts. Within 6 months, her client list grew by 40%, and she had time to enjoy Sunday barbecues with her family again. This isn't about being lazy. It's about being intentional. Think about your own life. Maybe you're juggling a job, a side hustle, and family responsibilities. Grab a piece of paper and write down everything you do in a week. Circle the 2 or 3 things that bring the most results. Maybe it's the emails you send to clients, the product you sell at the local craft fair, or the blog you write that gets the most TR. Action. Double down on those. Delegate or drop the rest. If you're spending hours on tasks that don't pay off, like endlessly tweaking your website, find a freelancer on a site like Upwork to handle it. I did this with my catering business. I realized that creating custom menus for corporate clients brought in 70% of my revenue. I stopped chasing small, one-off orders and focused on building relationships with businesses. I used a simple app to automate my invoicing, saving me hours each week. My income grew, but more importantly, I had time to watch the sunset with my husband or cheer at my kid's soccer game. Wealth isn't about filling every hour, it's about making every hour count. Try this. At the next Memorial Day sale or community event, notice what people are buying or asking for. If you sell handmade candles, maybe your lavender-scented ones are the best seller. Focus on those and create a story around them. Maybe a calm your evenings package. Less effort, more impact. That's the path to a richer life. Let your money breathe. Build a flow that lasts. I used to think saving money was the answer. Growing up in a small town in Pennsylvania, I'd tuck away every extra dollar in a savings account, proud of my discipline. But by my 50s, I realized something. Money that just sits there doesn't grow. It shrinks. Inflation creeps in like fog, stealing a little each year. $1 saved in 2010 doesn't buy the same groceries today. Wealth isn't about holding tight, it's about letting your money breathe. This is the final mindset. Make your money work for you. It's not about having millions to invest, it's about starting small and letting it flow. Let me tell you about Tom, a 53-year-old accountant from Phoenix. He'd saved $50,000 over the years, stashed in a low-interest savings account. At a local Oktoberfest, he overheard a food truck owner talking about needing funds to expand. Tom didn't have millions, but he had enough to invest $5,000 in the food truck, agreeing to a small profit share. He checked the business's sales records first. No big risks, just a calculated step. That investment now brings him $500 a month, and he's since partnered with 2 other local businesses. His money is working, even when he's not. You don't need to be a Wall Street guru to do this. Start where you are. Maybe at the next county fair, you meet a baker who needs help buying equipment. Offer to invest a small amount, say $1,000, for a share of their online sales. Or take a course on e-commerce during Black Friday sales season to learn how to sell digital products, like a guide to your favorite hobby. I started small, investing $2,000 in a friend's Etsy shop for a cut of her holiday sales. That grew into a steady stream of income I didn't have to work for. Here's a simple way to start. Look at your savings. Maybe it's $500, maybe it's $5,000. Ask yourself, how can this money move? It could be a small investment in a local business, a tool to automate your side hustle, or a course to boost your skills. At a community craft fair, I met a woman who turned her knitting hobby into a digital pattern business. She spent $200 on a basic website and now sells patterns nationwide, earning $1,000 a month without leaving her couch. Her money, and her skills, are breathing. The key is to think of money as a river, not a vault. Let it flow into places that create more, whether it's a small business, a skill, or a system. And don't be afraid to start small. At the next Labor Day sale, test a tiny investment. Maybe you buy a $50 tool to speed up your work or partner with a neighbor on a small project. Wealth grows when your money moves. As we close, I want you to picture this. It's a cool evening, maybe during a hometown football game under the Friday night lights. You're sitting in the stands, feeling the breeze, knowing your money is working for you, your partnerships are growing, and your efforts are focused on what matters. That's the soft path to a richer life. Not louder, not harder, but wiser and warmer. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start, to listen, to connect, and to let your money breathe. So, what's one small step you can take this week? Share it in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. If this video touched you, hit the like button and subscribe to Grow Rich Daily for more stories that light the way. Here's to building a life that's rich in every sense: money, time, and peace. Thank you for being here.